Give me a here, Watson Banks, and I'm here with Peter Taylor in the Coliseum Gym. Pete, it's been a while since I've spoken to you. How are you keeping?
All good, thanks. All good.
Yeah. So you've had a busy few weeks, haven't you? Gary, amongst others. Tommy McCarthy was most recent. What is your reflection on Tommy's fight so far?
I know Tommy fought great. You know, your man didn't turn up on the day, but that wasn't Tommy's fault. You know, Tommy prepared well. He was in the best shape of his career. You know, and I think he'd had his best camp. You could even see the way he looked on the scales. He looked brilliant on the scales, and he was a little bit more aggressive in there. So there's still more to come from Tommy. His next fight's against William Smith. That's going to be an exciting fight. William Smith is going to go for it with your man Shane McGuigan in the corner. So there's a little bit of needle there as well. You know, so I'm looking forward to that. And then, you know, the winner then hopefully gets a world title shot. You know, so it's all there for Tommy now.
You knew about that well ahead of time, didn't you? Not well ahead of time, but that week it wasn't assigned, only like a little bit before that.
It's only signed 2 days before the fight, you know. But there'd been talk about it as well, you know. And there'd been a bit of talk during the week about it, but nothing was concrete. And then the 2 days before, before the fight, he got the contract signed, which was great for Tommy, you know.
Oh yeah. It's perfect, isn't it, between for Tommy now, because there's a little bit of bite in it. There's been talk, especially after the fight. Like there was more talk of what he said after the fight more so than the fight itself. So it really has gathered people's attention, and then you kind of know whoever wins that will go on to a world title shot. For Tommy after the fight, in your mind, when he wins it, who would you like stylistically for him to fight as a world champion?
Well, I don't think he had much choice. When, you know, whoever he gets, he gets. And, you know, Tommy's the talent to beat anybody. You know, and he's slowly getting the self-belief in himself again, you know. So we don't mind who we get. You know, world title shot's a world title shot, and they don't come around that often, you know. So once he's fighting there, he's in there, he's a chance against anyone he wants. We don't mind who he fights. We don't mind. We've no preference on it. We don't mind.
Yeah. So I've seen you've got a new enough pro, John Carpenter, who only started training here about 2 years ago, and he said he didn't have any amateur experience, and he came into you, and now he's having his first pro fight. Did you think when you came through the doors that you would ever become a pro?
No, you never. When somebody's had no amateur experience, you never think they're going to have the ability to go pro. You know, I know there's a lot of pros that have had no amateur experience, but John's just kind of he's a bit of a freak, you know. He's like, he's extraordinarily strong, and he was determined from the start, you know. And I don't think himself he had any intention of going pro. And then I was doing a few PTs with him. Then he increased it to 3-4 days a week. Then I said, come in and do a little bit of sparring with the pros. And he got in there. It was every week he was improving. Next minute he's competing against them. So when you can see someone who's competing against them in sparring, then I said, well, at first we were going to let him have a few amateur fights, but then with this COVID lockdown, there was no amateur stuff going on, you know. So we said, look, get your pro license, and there goes his first fight now. So I think it's a great achievement even as a coach when you fetch somebody up from never boxing before, and then go in and being a professional. Like you've got, he's unpolished, he's done nothing. He sees you sometimes as a professional coach. You get lads in, and all you have to do is polish them. You know, the diamonds, all you have to do is polish them. Like, you know, it's like Sir Gary and Paul Ryan and all these Johnny Joyce. These lads are already come to you, and all credit to the amateur coaches. They already come to you. They're ready to go. You know what I mean? All you just do, you have to do is develop a little bit more for the pro game. And the amateur coaches for these lads, they don't get enough credit. You know, it's the same even in the amateur, the Irish team. They come on to the high performance, these lads, and the amateur coaches, they don't get the credit they deserve. The high performance team get all the credit, but they've already got the article there. All they're just doing is polishing them, you know.
I remember speaking to Noel Barra here, and he said how, you know, I was asking him if it's a challenge training people like Gary and whatnot, and he says, well, actually, it's very, very simple because they always want to be, they almost train themselves, but for you, someone like John, is it almost more of an achievement for you to get someone from scratch to a pro?
Yeah, no, it is. But like Niall said, training likes a Gary, and everything's so easy for you, you know. You know, you ask him to do something once, and it's done perfect, and it makes it so easy. You have very little correcting. You're just tweaking little things, and then they go off and practice it, and then they're coming back in, and they're better than the first time you showed them. You know, like as a coach, for achievement wise, to get someone from nothing to and develop them, I think that is coaching. You know that is coaching. Like, say for instance, you know, Katie from never boxing to Olympic champion. That's hard to do that, you know, because you're fetching them from nothing, you know. And I don't think anyone's a coach until they can do that, you know. Like I say, there's a lot. I gave out on Instagram there sometimes about professional coaching. Is that, you know, anyone can turn over. There's no standards for professional coaching. And you know, you get these lads that do a little bit of pads. Next minute you see them the professional coaches. You know what I mean? But they've not. You've got to do. I think before people can say you're a coach, you've got to develop somebody first. You know.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's like in society now? It's like ignorance is bliss when it comes to when you see a pad man and you don't know any better. Maybe you think that's what it is.
The pad men do my head in. And that's the truth about it. Like, you know, you see all these PTs, but they're not pads. Pads is not a cardio exercise; it's technique. You know, and you know, you need to know the technical elements of boxing before you start doing pads, because all you're doing is reinforcing bad habits. And pads is important. You know, because it's one-to-one with your boxer. You can correct things, little things you can see. But if you don't know what they're doing wrong, and pad men are too busy about themselves. They're looking good themselves, looking in the mirror. Jeez, I look great. That's it. That's all about the two men. Not I'm saying every one of them. There's some great pad men out there, and there's some. But I'm just saying in general. You see it, you go on these YouTubes on Instagram, and Floyd Mayweather pads now, but we know everyone knows Floyd Mayweather's proper pads when the cameras are not there, you know, and you know, it's frustrating sometimes.
You're also a strength and conditioning coach as well, and a friend of mine, a really close friend of mine, he would be a Gaelic strength and conditioning coach, went to university for it and all that, and it frustrates him when boxers are taken in by certain people, and you see someone's throwing a tennis ball at them. And when I watch him coach, everything is so simple and that. Do you think that's just kind of the industry in itself, in fitness and whatnot?
Yeah.
People getting taken advantage of. Like.
Yeah. And I think that the thing with boxing and strength and conditioning coaches, you know, they go off on their own tangent. They think they're more important than the skill work, you know. And then now, you know, you've had a hard sparring session. And then they go and then they destroy them then with the strength and conditioning afterwards, after having a hard sparring session. And they should work in coordination with a boxing coach, because the boxing is the most important part of it. You know what I mean? The strength is only a small part of it. And I think they're like now kind of gone to the attitude that strength and conditioning is more prehab than anything else. It's to stop them getting injured, and you know. They can go on their own little tangent, the strength and conditioning coaches, and they jump on the piggyback on the back of them, and then they get so much work out of it. You know, I'm training Anthony Joshua, you know, so yeah.
You got two new fighters, I think, in your stable. It could be more, but I know Paul Ryan is one, and Sean McComb. How did them two come about coming into your gym?
Yeah, I did a bit with Paul before his first pro fight, and then. Obviously, I know Sean from the High Performance, you know, so, and then we've so many lads from Belfast coming down now, you know, with Tommy, the two Tyrones and Sean McComb. So, the two, Paul rang me up after his last fight. Like I said, I'd done a bit of work with him before, you know, and he said, can I jump in and join in? He came in for a week and he said, I love it here. And then Sean's been, this is his second week down. He did a week's trial here, see if he enjoyed it. And you've got to see if they all gel as well with the rest of the lads, you know. Because you see, we train like the High Performance unit. We all train together, and it's great. But another two bloody southpaws with 12 bloody.
I was only saying that to Butch there.
Yeah, we're like Cuba. Everyone's southpaws, you know. If anyone's looking for southpaw sparring, just come over here, because we've only two orthodox boxers, I think. 3 orthodox boxers, the rest are southpaws.
I was watching the warm-up when they were going down this red line here, the red lane, and then I was looking at the video and I was like, There's only 4 Orthodox lads here. Like.
Is it? No, it's not.
It was 4 or 5, like whatever it was, but
yeah,
everyone else was a southpaw.
Southpaw, yeah, I think.
And then Deco wasn't here today.
Deco's not here. Yeah.
Tyrone.
McCullough's not here. Yeah, like I think we've got Tommy, Senan, JC, and Stevie. Yeah, they're the only Orthodox. John Joyce. John Joyce is Southpaw.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember who it was.
They're all Southpaw, all bloody Southpaws.
No,
John Joyce Southpaw.
Yeah.
Paul Ryan Southpaw. Like Gary, Tyrone. Sean McComb, Deco. So everyone's bloody Southpaws, you know. So no, it's great. Like none of me Orthodox guys will have problems boxing against Southpaws anyway because everyone's bloody Southpaw, you know.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because everyone used to talk about Gary and Sean always being an opponent and whatnot, and now it's completely different. And now they're training with each other, you know. So probably most likely they will probably never fight now. Would you say?
No, they'll never fight now. They're gonna two of them different routes now. You know, Gary's European champion. Sean had a little setback in his last fight, so kind of he's rebuilding now, and this is his first camp with me. But there's too many options for him. They're not going to be fighting each other, you know.
Yeah.
No, unless the two of them become world champions and they fight for an undisputed title.
But they'd have to get it on then, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but I think like Gary's making the weight all right. But you even see the size of Gary. Gary's, I'd say he's probably another maybe year, and he jumps up to light welter, you know. And with Tyrone at light welter as well, then so. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's they'll not fight each other.
Grand. Well, Pete, really appreciate your time. Thanks for having me up here, and thanks very much.
No promise. Thanks.